So let's kick things off with some buzz that's really got Cowboys Nation talking lately. And that's the excitement surrounding George Pickens. There's a real sense right now that this guy might finally be that piece the offense has been missing. He's got the raw ability. He's got that explosive playmaking gear. And if things line up with Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy, Pickens could bring a whole new dimension to this team's passing attack. But there's still that lingering concern, not about his game, but about the off-field stuff. His character, his maturity, those locker room questions. And you know how that goes. If a guy can't make it work under a leader like Mike Tomlin, or with someone like Dak Prescott trying to guide him, that's not a coaching issue. That's a him issue. Still, purely in terms of fit, Pickens looks like he could be exactly what the Cowboys needed. Now let's flip the conversation to the future of the quarterback position, because this one's starting to heat up too. There's been some interesting chatter about the Cowboys potentially drafting a quarterback. Not to replace Dak right away, but to develop behind him. Think of it like the Jordan Love model in Green Bay. Draft a guy with potential, let him sit, learn the system, and step in when the time is right. That could be 2 years down the road, but the planning has to start now, especially when you look at Dak's age, his injury history, and the uncertainty around his contract situation. The team's been sniffing around Joe Milton as one of those developmental guys. Maybe he's the future, maybe he's not, but having a plan in place is what matters. Let me ask you, would you be in favor of drafting a quarterback now to sit behind Dak? Let's do a quick poll in the comments. Yes, plan ahead, or no, focus on now. And hey, if you're enjoying this kind of in-depth Cowboys content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and help us get to 15,000 subscribers. We're building something special here, and I want you along for the ride. Let's talk defense, because there's some real energy and concern surrounding that side of the ball right now. Starting with Donovan Ezraku, the Boston College edge rusher the Cowboys grabbed in the second round. Now look, I'm pumped about this kid. Legitimately surprised he was even available when Dallas was on the clock. If you had asked me in March whether Ezraku would still be there on day 2, I would have told you no shot. Early second-round grade, my 5th ranked, edge in the entire class. So yeah, I'm excited. But, and this is a big one, we need to cool it on the Micah Parsons 2.0 stuff. That's not fair to the player. Parsons is off to a historic generational start to his career. There are maybe 5 guys in NFL history who've done what he's done in his first few seasons. Putting that kind of expectation on Ezraku is setting him up to fail. If he becomes a solid 10-sack guy, that's not Micah, but that's a home run pick. So let's appreciate what he can be without forcing the comparison. Now shifting to the secondary, and yeah, it's looking dicey heading into Week 1. With Trevon Diggs still uncertain, and guys like Eric Scott Jr. and Nashawn Wright fighting for snaps, the big question becomes, what's the best alignment? Bland has mostly worked at nickel so far in OTAs, while Elam's been getting outside reps. You've also got names like Israel Mukwamu, Kalen Carson, and even Andrew Booth trying to make a case. But none of it feels locked in. Not yet. Personally, I think the best outcome is still Bland in the slot once Diggs or Red Zone Wright, or maybe even Jordan Lewis, are fully back. But to be real, it's a lot of guesswork at this point. The idea of throwing a third-round rookie out there in Week 1 against guys like A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, that's not exactly comforting. Let me throw this one your way. What's your confidence level in the cornerback room right now on a scale from 1 to 10? Drop your number in the comments, and if you're even a little worried about our depth at corner, do me a favor and smash that like button. It tells YouTube we're not just casual fans. We actually care about this team. All right, now let's talk about something that's been quietly bothering a lot of fans: how the Cowboys handle injuries. And I've got to be honest with you, it's starting to look like there's a real issue here. Think about it. Terrence Steele came back fast from that ACL tear, but hasn't looked like the same guy since. Trevon Diggs? There's already tension between his camp and the team over how his recovery's being managed. And then there's Michael Gallup. never got back to full form after his own injury. It's a pattern. And this isn't just fan paranoia. There's a valid concern that the Cowboys' medical staff isn't doing enough to make sure these guys not only return to the field, but return ready to perform at the level they were before. You can throw in guys like Sam Williams, who's been in and out, or even Overton, who returned and got hurt again. We all like to believe that rehab is linear, that a guy tears something, rehabs it, and comes back 100%. But the truth is, it's unpredictable. And if the support structure behind them isn't right, it just makes it worse. Now let's shift gears to roster cuts. This part always gets fans fired up, and there are some big names being tossed around. DeMarvion Overshown? Maybe. Matt Waletzko? Probably. But one that caught my attention was Donovan Wilson. Some fans are floating the idea of cutting him. Here's the thing. If they wanted to do that, the time to save real money on his contract passed about 5 months ago. So unless something major changes, I don't see it happening. But never say never. Then there's guys like TJ Bass, who might have some trade value, or Robert Jones, whose deal is mostly guaranteed. This is where you start asking yourself, are these guys worth the roster spot? Are they healthy? Can they contribute early? And if not, who takes their place? Let's get into it. Do you think Donovan Wilson should be cut? Just type yes or no in the comments. Simple as that. And if you're as frustrated as I am about how this team has handled injuries the last few seasons, show some love to this channel by hitting that like button. We're here to keep it real, win or lose. Chapter 4. Word count, 348 words. Now let's talk about something that's really puzzling. Why haven't the Cowboys signed Micah Parsons yet? I mean, this guy is a generational talent, the heart and soul of the defense, and he's only getting more expensive with every dominant season he puts together. So what's the holdup? Some fans are speculating it has to do with the team's cash spending limits. There's this long-standing theory that the Cowboys like to cap their cash spending around $200 million a year. It's not a hard rule, but if you look back at recent years, that line seems to hold. And when you factor in the potential extensions coming up for guys like CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott, it starts to make sense why they're slow playing this. But here's the problem. This mindset of, we'll wait, we'll get a discount because we're the Cowboys, just doesn't hold up anymore. Stephen and Jerry Jones have openly said they don't believe in being the first to make an offer. They think that picking up the phone early puts them at a disadvantage in negotiations. They truly believe that playing for the Cowboys should come with a discount. But history shows us that's just not reality anymore. Players want to get paid. Period. And being on the Cowboys doesn't mean what it used to. You don't get that built-in discount just because of the star on the helmet. If anything, you pay a premium because of the spotlight and the pressure. Let me throw it to you. Do you think the Cowboys are hurting themselves by delaying the Parsons deal? Should they just pay him now and lock it in? Drop your take in the comments. And if you don't want to miss the next twist in this contract saga, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We're chasing 15,000 subscribers, and your support gets us there faster. Plus, you'll be the first to know when Parsons finally gets that bag. All right. So let's end this with a little fan prediction time. There's been a lot of debate lately about what this Cowboys team is really going to look like in 2025. Will it be a bounce-back year where they finally make that deep playoff run, or is it going to be more of the same frustration? Some fans are throwing out 13-4 predictions. Others are bracing for 7-10 if things fall apart. Personally, I've got them around 10 or 11 wins. Just enough to make it interesting, but not enough to make anyone feel comfortable. But I want to hear from you. What's your record prediction for the Cowboys in 2025? Drop your number down in the comments and tell me why. Let's see who's optimistic and who's just had enough. Now, if there's one move this front office could still make before the season kicks off, what should it be? You've got to think about needs, not names. And for me, the one glaring need is at defensive tackle, specifically a true one-tech who can clog the middle and stop the run. Maisie Smith just hasn't looked like that guy yet, And there's not a lot of proven depth behind him. Someone like Andrew Billings, if he's even available, could be a realistic target. Don't expect a DJ Reader type to walk through that door, but even a solid rotational piece would help. Some fans have also brought up the role of Hunter Luepke, wondering if he could be a legitimate short yardage option. The thing is, he's a fullback. So if he's carrying the ball, who's lead blocking for him? Could be a tight end like Luke Schoonmaker or maybe even Brevin Spanford in motion. It's creative thinking, but it's not exactly a clean fit. Still, it's worth exploring. So here's the final question for you. If the Cowboys could only make one more roster move, what position should they target? Nose tackle, wide receiver, offensive line, or something else? Vote in the comments. And don't forget, we're on that push to 15,000 subscribers. Hit that button if you haven't already, and let's ride through this season together, one move and one win at a time.